Hey guys, so I wanted to do a DVD collection video, and it's not a lot because many of you probably also have not too large collections, given that we can really download movies from anywhere now, and watching movies is maybe I would say less popular nowadays versus watching TV shows, although I do have some TV shows on DVD. So I'm excited to walk through some of my movie collection / show collection we have. I know it's not a role play, but I thought it might be fun to go through. And I'm just gonna kind of pull things at random. There's no rhyme or reason. And this isn't everything, but it really is like 90% of the DVDs we have. So let's get started. So I want to start off first with my all-time favorite DVD right now. Or at least in the last year, when I don't remember when this movie came out, but it's called Emma. It's featuring I forgot it, Anya Taylor-Joy. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's pretty relevant right now. She's in quite a few things. She was in the Queen's Gambit, which is a phenomenal show, and I love her so much as an actress. But this is a story, not a retelling, I would say. I mean, reimagined Emma story by Jane Austen. It's so beautiful. The cinematography is just gorgeous. I rewatch this all the time. I'm a sucker for romance. Truly. So anything period piece and it's a romance, I literally love it so much. So this is a lovely movie that I truly, probably is one of my favorites I own, and I wanted this on DVD because I wanted to own it and always have the opportunity to watch it. It's on Blu-ray. Alright, and then next is a recent purchase because I couldn't bear not having them in my life, and that is the Twilight saga. And it's still in plastic because I bought this a few months ago, and then Netflix released all the movies on Netflix. And I have Netflix, so I was like, well, I can just watch them there for now and not have to break into the DVDs yet until they remove the movies, which they just did this month. So it's still in plastic, but it's the entire collection. And I just have to say, I love Twilight. I love it. I have my complaints about it. Like how there's just like a lot, but I love it in general. I was a fan back when I was a teenager, so it's a classic. I had to own them. I just had to. No ifs and buts about it. So yeah, that's my Twilight collection. Okay, so that's that. And the next thing is the full Downton Abbey series. Yes, I was in love with Downton Abbey many years ago. It was something I waited with bated breath to watch on TV. Yes, when it was being released on TV, we scheduled time for it. It was one of my favorite shows. I will say after season 3, things took a turn and it was very tough. Not my favorite trajectory for the show. However, I loved it all the same, and I was gifted the full set by my husband, who so thoughtfully got it for me, and I love that I own them. And I will probably rewatch season 1 through 3, skip quite a few episodes in season 4, unless I have the strength someday. But I just love this show so much. It's funny because I haven't opened this like in a while, and already there's like a broken piece. What even? Okay. Well, never mind on that, but look how beautiful Matthew. We just love Matthew. Just a treasure. Again, period pieces and romance stories I am a sucker for. This is like a broken random piece, which is very interesting. I'm not really sure how that happened because I've never really opened this. I'm gonna stick that back in. Oh. Yeah, that's super interesting how that happened. Okay, maybe I can glue it on somehow. Stick that back in. So, that is my Downton Abbey collection, which I adore tremendously. So next, I'm randomly just picking up stuff. We have a Lord of the Rings 3-film collection. Me and my husband got this because we never really fully watched all of them before together or separately. I saw a lot of it on TV intermittently when they aired it, the films, but I feel like I never really fully watched them all the way through. And you know, you can't blame me because on TV they will have commercials and extend like how long the film actually is, which can make it incredibly long. So we watched all of them, and it was a great memory, a great time, and we've kept them obviously ever since. And they're just really like the basic DVD versions. I think we picked this up at like Target for like really inexpensive, just so we were able to see it all together. We haven't seen the Hobbit movies. Might be something we try to watch next. We will see. Next we have Mamma Mia, the 2 movie collection. I love that it's a sing-along edition. My husband also got this for me because I really love the band ABBA, and this is obviously based around their soundtrack, or one of their albums, or a few of their albums, I should say, a lot of their music. I love Mamma Mia, the movie. I actually still haven't seen the second one yet. Like, I love that I own it, but I have yet to see the second one, so I feel like I need to do that soon. And yeah, it's just like in a nice sleeve. Isn't it crazy? Like, I feel like DVDs really just came out not too long ago, like early 2000s, and now we're like just a couple of decades in, and they're kind of like inching away a little bit from them producing them, I would say. But I love that. I have these. Okay, so next we have the Harry Potter films classic. We have to have them. I think what happens is, like, if your streaming service of choice doesn't have the movies or shows that you really want to see, like, I like consider it in terms of books. Like, if you've ever read a book before that you really loved and you loved that book so much, I absolutely recommend that you buy that book, simply because over time you can start to forget the things that you really loved, and then when you try to find them later on, it could be that you forgot or it's impossible to find because they no longer produce them anymore, especially books. So I've definitely on a journey right now of buying the books that I've loved that I don't currently own, that I would love to own in my collection. Similar with movies and shows, I think if you love something, you can't really ever sort of rely on streaming services to have them forever. So yeah, purchasing them is still pretty valuable, and I'm really glad that we have the Harry Potter series. This is just like the simple, complete film collection in this massive case. I love the Harry Potter films. They're just so amazing. And yeah, you just like have all of the DVDs. If I had to pick my favorite Harry Potter film, it would have to be The Goblet of Fire. I love that movie so much. I just feel like it encompasses so much joy and fun right before things take a darker turn. And I also like The Prisoner of Azkaban a lot, although I do feel like that was like a darker movie. I don't know, I feel like The Goblet of Fire was just like everyone had a good time. It wasn't so dreary yet. But that being said, I love all the films a lot. Love them so much. Okay. Alright, next are our quiet treasures, I should say. So we have Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones came out quite a few years ago, and we didn't get into watching them until I would say up to 3 to 4 years ago. And by that time, only, I would say like the last 2 seasons were just coming out, something to that effect. So we actually saw the last season when they actually aired the episodes, but before then we were watching all the seasons for like months straight, because it's quite a lot of show time. So what we did was we bought all the DVD sets so we could watch all the show. So this is season 1 and 2. Yes, there are so many memories with this. This show was so gripping, and honestly, I cried a lot because of some of the traumatic things some of the characters went through. It got really tough. Like after season 5, I want to say, it got really bad in terms of just the traumas. It was pretty rough before then, though. Like every season there were a lot of hard things, but it's just such a gripping show, and I really loved it up until the last season. I think the last season was still good in the sense that it just simply had Game of Thrones characters and storylines. The way that it ended, I have my opinions. I wasn't incredibly excited about the ending at all, and many people weren't. I don't think that necessarily throws out the entire show, but it is disappointing to watch the ending because there are some elements of it I wasn't not a fan of. This is the kind of show where you end up yelling at the TV sometimes, at the characters, because of how crazy they make you feel. But that's just what the show was. This is season 3 and 4. I love it. They always feature all the characters in the back. And if you're not willing to buy the DVDs, I believe they have them on HBO, so you could go to HBO. If you have that service, I think they might have all the episodes. We didn't have HBO at that time in our life, and we do now, but we didn't previously, so that's why we bought them all. Okay, so season 5 was the season that really took a turn. It was interesting. See, they feature the characters. They got a little fancier with the outer case. It's actually, so this is like a sleeve. And then you have like this gilded golden case. I think that's Tyrion Lannister. Oh my god. I think he's probably one of my favorite characters in the show. If I had to pick my favorite characters, Daenerys, Tyrion, and Arya, and Jon Snow. That's a lot of people. I mean, I liked all of them really a lot. Arya was like the one I really rooted for, as well as Tyrion, and Daenerys above them all. I think Daenerys was like, I stuck beside her. I loved her so much, and you know, she's our, what do they call her? Like the mother of dragons. She's our queen, so I love it so much. This is definitely a show that I could see myself like rewatching over time, but I've taken the last few years to heal from watching all this because it's a lot. So this is the 6th season. It's got like a fun element, like a zipper sound. So that's like the front of it, if you want to check it out. The faces shift, but their eyes remain closed. So that's interesting. Yeah, the 6th season was a bit dark. And then finally we have, I'm pretty positive this is the last season and we bought it, but I don't know. I don't think there's an 8th season. I think there's up to 7 seasons. I don't remember. Yeah, this is the last final season. Oh, the infamous season 7. There was so much that I appreciated and so much that I didn't appreciate. But, you know, we just had to own them all. So one day when we rewatch these, we have at least everything to our collection. Okay, so that's all of Game of Thrones. I want to say watching all of these episodes took like a solid 3 to 4 months. I'm not even joking. That's like watching an episode almost every night or every day with a few breaks in between, given, you know, you may stop, you pause every now and then, but it's like a ton of watch time. I'm sure you could binge it pretty quickly though if you wanted to. So next, I'm going to go through some of the more seasonal DVDs we have. So let's see. Every year I like to pick up like seasonal DVDs at Target of movies that I've never seen or that I've really enjoyed during the season. So these are all the Halloween movies that I own. Which I know you can watch these on like Disney Plus, Netflix, whatever, but I just like to own them. So we have Halloween Town movies. Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2 Calabar's Revenge. In my opinion, the best Halloween Town movies of the series. So, this is the literally just picked up from Target, probably like less than $10 basic DVD set. Then we have a ultimate classic, Hocus Pocus. Can't go wrong. I had to own it. And yeah, I think that this is just one of those movies that is something you could watch year over year, and definitely one of the classics, and I'm glad that I own it. Yeah. I used to be terrified of it when I was little, though. I still don't take to horror movies very well because I am a pretty big scaredy cat, but I like, child, somewhat scary stuff. It's a delicate balance. I also have The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a classic as well. So yeah, we have to have A Nightmare Before Christmas. You get 2 holidays for one. So also picked it up at Target. And then I have 2 Christmas movies. Christmas with the Cranks is one of those movies. It's like a comfort Christmas movie for me where I could like rewatch it and not really get tired of it. And I think it's just a classic Christmas movie, and I really enjoy it. I think it's funny. And then the last Christmas DVD is Elf, which you all know is incredibly popular. Wow, Elf. When was this released? I think this movie came out like 2001 or something. Something crazy like that. 20 something years ago. That's insane. Last but not least, this is my treasure item. So this is Little House on the Prairie, all 10 seasons of Little House on the Prairie. I grew up watching this when I was really little. When I was really young, I was like bored of it. Like I didn't really understand. And then as I got I want to say around 10 years old, I started to be, I at that point had read Little House on the Prairie books because they used to be my favorite books. Don't tell me why. I'm not even outdoorsy. I would not say I'm an outdoorsy person. I don't generally enjoy like the rough outdoors or outdoor activities that require like heavy activity, like really intense hikes. I just would not be up for that. Leisurely nature walks are something I love, and I do like being in nature, but I just find it really funny that I love Little House on the Prairie, but I just would not be an outdoorsy person. But if you've read the books or watched the show, it really is about the relationships and the family dynamic, and me and my family all really love this show, so we religiously watched it. Yep, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think the 10th season is somewhere. I have to go find it because I was watching up into that point, I think. Or maybe there's just 9 seasons. Oh, all 9 seasons. Okay, so maybe the 10th season isn't in here. That's okay. I didn't love the 10th season anyway. For some reason, some of these shows do the last seasons dirty. They just don't do it justice, I should say. Yeah, it's a beautiful show. It was made in like the 70s and 80s. That's what the show ran from. So yeah, I'm really happy to have them all. If I had to pick a favorite season though, I would pick season 5. Little House on the Prairie is based off of Laura Ingalls Wilder, if you hadn't guessed by now, and her family that moved to, in this series, the TV adaptation, Walnut Creek, although in the books they move around different places and they end up in South Dakota, I think, in her later years. The show is not based off the books 100% whatsoever. Literally, rewatching this, I rewatched this during 2020 for the most part because I had a lot of time to kill, as we all did, and realized they went through like a very traumatic things in this show, like not even traumatic but dramatic, like 3 different plagues. I was like, it was kind of funny at some point, and it is like a family friendly show. Like there's some sad moments or tragic moments, but it's very wholesome, I would say. It's very like heartfelt, and they always kind of show good winning at the end of the day. So if you're into wholesome and good beating evil kind of storylines, you'll really enjoy Little House on the Prairie. And it's like a very retro show, so there's some, I don't know, some qualities about that that can be nice. But I really love season 5 because they well, I don't want to spoil it, but season 5 is my favorite because that introduces a few new characters and shifts, and I think it's also when they get older, the kids, and it just like there's more dynamic relationships happening. So I really enjoyed season 5. It's like my favorite season, and probably season 6 as well. Season 5, 6, and 7 are really my favorites. Yeah, I was rewatching all of these and I forgot where I left off, but this is just a classic show. I love it so much. Well, that concludes my DVD collection. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed showing you all the different DVDs I own. It's not a huge collection, but I do really fondly enjoy a lot of what we do collect and own. I think that's something to consider, is buying shows and movies that you truly love and would love to have forever, because you never know if those streaming services will ever discontinue them over time or whatnot, or it might become rare to find them someday. That might not be the case, but yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe I'll show a different collection some other time. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this little different of a video. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are. And I wish you the best. So I'll catch you in the next